What's up, brick builders? Today's build is the Mine Loader. Set number 42049. Year it came out was 2016. Age group, you're looking at 9 to 16. Number of parts, 476. Price per piece, 6 pence per piece. That's really, really good. Cost back in 2016 was $29.99 for one of these, brand new. Right now you're looking at the current value of a mint sealed box set, very good condition, £52. Used, you're looking from £30 to £40. There's not a massive investment here at all, folks, but it looks like an awesome set. Hello, Shaun from BRIT'N. How you doing, folks? We are joined by Shadow Rock. We haven't been joined by Shadow Rock for a while. Here's our parts. We've got the instructions up on the screen for you. So let's jump to it. Here we go. Right, so that extra screen there is your instructions. We'll just get this laid out first. You can see the size of the tyres, they're pretty big, so this vehicle's going to be a fair size. I've also got a big turntable with 3-pin holes. That's that kind of tells you how big this item's going to be as well. Pop those up there. Tyres out. Go. I'll put those on top of each other. Got wheel rims. Different kinds of wheel rims than what we've been used to in the past. And I'm going to tip the contents of the bag out as soon as I've got these last two big parts. These parts here will make up the container, and we've not used these parts at all yet. So that's exciting. Some new parts. Alright, let's switch over to the instructions. No, actually, we're going to keep an eye on it first. Make sure that everything's in view. I have to spread these out a bit so that I can catch a bit more that roll. Lots of small parts. There we go. That's it right there. I'm going to switch over to the instructions. There we go. Right. First off, the big frame. Big grey frame right there. 2 blue pins either side on the end are going in short ways. And then we got a hole space, and then we've got a pin. So we're going to drop a pin in the next hole after that one. On either side, so you got them both same like that. And we got a 8 axle with a stopper on the end. That's going to go through this middle hole here, like so. Hold it in place, because you're going to be putting a big tanned gear on the end of that. And then we've got a small tanned gear as well. And find a small tanned gear. There we go. And that's going to also have the teeth facing out. And then push the axle all the way through the other side. And just make sure that it's got a little bit of distance so that it can actually spin. And that is that. Stage 1, right. No, actually that's stage 1 to 3. We'll put that aside. 2 axle connector with a fairly newish pin to me. It's kind of flexible. Bit feels like rubber, but it's a soft plastic. And that's going to go into one axle hole here. And then we've got a blue pin with axle going in the bottom there. So both studs on that side, axle on that side there. Then we got two 1-hole or 2 axle hole plates. And these are light grey. I'll find those. Move these things around a bit. I keep getting the L shapes. Finding the L shapes. Don't need the L shapes. Not yet. I don't think. No, they're not L shapes. There we go. There's one. That's going to go on the axle. And we want the other one. Just move these about a little bit more. You can see there's a lot of pins. And other fastening devices. Now then, where is... Because all I keep seeing is the L shapes. Maybe I should pull out the L shapes and... I don't know where you'll go. There you are. Right. And that's going to go on there. Excuse me, drink me tea. Right. Then we go and do another one of these. 2 axle hole connector. Soft black pin with an axle on the end. There we go. And a pin on the other side. And then blue pin with axle again at the bottom there. So I'm going to put those two together. We want to be together, and that's just going to drop over the top, and these blue pins are going to go into these 2 holes here on either side of this axle, like so. Next is 3 axle with an axle connector. I think it's dark bluish grey. Axle connector. And then a big tan gear again. So this is going to go into the hole just after the black pin here. Keep that in place because you're going to be putting the tan gear through as well. And they should connect like that. Next stage, another axle connector with tanned pin with axle. So it'll have some, it's frictionless, so it will have some movement. We want the axle connector, dark bluish grey. Sometimes it helps to tell yourself what colour you're looking for and you can find the item a little bit quicker. There we go. That's what I find with myself anyway. You can see it just moves. These 2 are going to be the axles, basically, as you can tell. Drive axle, dummy axle. Yellow plate with 2 holes and an axle hole on either end, and 2 red axles on either side. How many times can I say axle today, I wonder, in this video anyway? 2-hole connector with axle. There it is. And that's just going to branch off like that at a right angle. Push the axle through a little bit. And then we got to do another one of these plates. So then a plate, a red axle, one in one side, one in the other, and then connect that to the black axle connector there, like that. And we got to do 2 of those. Hey, I get to say axle more. Okay, so yellow plate, 2-hole yellow plate. I see one. Yeah, red axle. Red axle. We got to do 2 of those. So, want the 2-hole axle connector as well. There we go. And another yellow plate and 2 red axles. It's amazing what these little parts can build. At the moment, it really looks like nothing, does it? Okay, so these are going to go in through here, and the axle connectors are going to go and line up with these holes here, like so. And then you go put plates over the top to secure them in place. We're going to do it one at a time. There's no point in holding 2. So we're going to do one at a time. Like that. Then do this one. Hold this in place. I'm going to turn it around because I do better with my right hand. Now then, there is. You know, having said that now, I'll probably drop everything every time with my right hand. And yellow plate. It should be the final yellow plate, I would have thought. So, of course, it's going to be a little bit difficult to find because it's the last one. There it is. I found it. I push those in place, and then we've got some axles going in. 4 long axles. Okay, so we want 4. There's one. We're going to go into the holes there and into the axle connector, and now you've got this bit of drive control here. And then we're just going to pop some small bushings on either side as well, acting as spaces for wheels, like that. Put that aside, and 2 axle hole connector. There's one. 3 axle, so that's a grey axle. Odd numbers are grey most of the time, and even numbers are black. Also red because the 2 axle. So that's going to go in like that, and then we've got axle connector, and we've got the hole facing the same way as these holes. And then we go put another 3 axle on the end of that. And then we go put a fire hydrant on the end. You imagine using this video as a drinking game at Christmas. How many times can Shaun say axle? Okay, so that's put aside. Then we got 3 axle. I need a 3 axle. There's one. Axle connector. Yeah. And then a 5 axle, which is the larger one. Still grey. And then we got these 1-hole connectors going on here. And just make sure that they are kind of facing the same way as each other when you put them on. So holes are facing up, same as this. And then we're going to push that part into there. Push that back through a bit. And then we're going to close that off with a 2 axle hole connector. Like so. And then we've got a blue pin with axle going into the fire hydrant. Okay. Like so. Then we got an 8 axle with stopper, so it's dark bluish grey. All axles with stoppers seem to have be dark bluish grey, which is kind of cool to remember. Dark bluish grey 8 axle. There it is. And that is coming from the bottom middle hole there. No, it's not. It's coming from the bottom yellow hole there of that one hole connector. And then keep your thumb behind the axle, and you're going to push this rather large tan gear onto that. And 7 axle, 7 long axle, yellow, and a big red bushing. Just go pop it on the end there. It kind of looks like a match, doesn't it? When the old Swan Vesta matches. A large L shape, and this is going to go in the middle of the bed, because this is the headboard, this is the foot, this is the bed, this is the foot of the bed. Keep your thumb on the red the axle with the red stopper, and you're going to put a grey gear. Where is it? Where's the grey gear? There it is. The grey gear is going to go onto it like that, and then this is going to join. Should join in the middle there and there, and then these 2 gears, I believe, should connect like so. There is this slip, so I'm not sure if that's like a clutch. Oh, hang on a sec. There is going to be no slip in a minute. There you go. Got it. Okay, so that works really smoothly. Excellent. And then this is going to we're going to put a red bushing on the end of that axle there. Give it a bit of a spacer. We got a smooth sleeve grey going over the axle, and then we're going to close that off with another red big bushing, like so. Just test it. It's a little bit thingy, a bit stiff, so ease it off a little bit, and you should have some motion. And then we're going to put a tan gear on top of that red bushing. Like so. Next we want a tanned pin with axle. Tan pin with axle. Axle connector, dark bluish grey. And a 6 axle red. And then this is going to go onto the L shape. No, that's the one hole. And that's going to have some movement as well because it's on a tan pin, which is frictionless. Blue pin with axle. It's going to go into the back of another dark bluish grey axle connector. If I can find it. Where's it gone? It's looking at me. Told you I was. It's right there. And then another blue pin with axle in the other end there. And then a smooth grey connector on that pin, and then a black pin on top of that. And that is going to be dropped. And that is going to connect into this one hole connector. And then these are going to merge together. So these two pins here are going to go into these two holes here. Give it a bit of a wiggle because you've got two pins to line up, like so. None of these gears are meeting up, not yet. These are down at the bottom here, which are the drive gears, and these are not. There you go. These are for something else. And smooth connector is going on top of here, right? It's smooth sleeve is going to go on top there. It acts as a spacer. And then we've got some framework. So we've got an 11 hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's not that, but keep hold of it because it's shorter than that. But not by much. There it is. We've got a hole, pin, 2 holes. So pins go in there. Then a hole. And a pin. And then there's a hole and a pin on the other side. T-bar. A yellow T-bar. There we go. It's got a pin stuck to it. Actually, that's supposed to go in there, so we'll pop that back in. We'll use that. And that's going to go on the middle. Then we got these two one-hole connectors with axle. Are going to go on either side of here. And then we got fire hydrants, so we want some axles. We want 4 axles. 4 long axles, 4 long axles. This one. So that's going to go in there. Then we want a fire hydrant. Fire hydrant. Like that. Holes running along with the length of the bar here. So your holes there. And then we're going to put a blue pin in that hole. Just so you can see it better. Like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side here. So we want a 4 axle. Fire hydrant. Fire hydrant. Running the same way. And then we've got to put a blue pin with axle on the end. Like that. I'll put that aside. Now we seem to be making kind of a gearbox or diff. We've got a big U shape. We got a tan pin with long pin, short pin. So the short pin's going to go into this because it's a plate. You can find it. I think there's only one of these in this set. Which makes it harder to find. Look, that's a big one. There's a grey one. Is it a grey one? Or is that a tan one? I think that's a tan one. Right. Okay. Cool. Pop that on there. And then we're going to put a 4 axle down the middle. Keep it kind of in place because you can put a moon gear on the inside. like that. And then you're going to put a red bushing on top of that to stop that from falling through. Like that. Now it won't fall through. Make sure you still got a little bit of space. Push the axle through a little bit because you're going to be attaching another moon gear on the top. But it could be hand of God. It could be hand of God. Then we got a 9 axle going through here. So it's our odd number. So it's going to be a grey. It's going to be a rather long grey axle. That's going to go through like so. And then we've got a tan axle is going to go here. Small tan axle. So you have to kind of keep the axle in place and the tan gear in place too. Sometimes I find if I drop the gear in and then just roll the axle around until it goes into the right place, you can push that just a little bit past the pin and you should have that, and there you go. And we're going to attach that to the yellow frame we were just making. Making sure your black pieces on the bars are sticking out away from you, because then this is going to come in that way as well. And then you're going to put a axle connector on the end of this axle. Axle connector, dark bluish grey. Had a hard time finding the last one. This is somewhere. Or is it a black? There it is. Found it. And that's going to go all the way through like so. Just test it, make sure it works. Perfect. Then we go join that onto the rest of this gear setup. And that is going to go through there and there, line those up, and if we push this all the way through like that, those two should meet. Now then, what have we got here? Doesn't seem to be any connection here at all. We are putting a gear. I face it the right way. We're putting a gear on the end of this red axle here. So it's a moon gear on the end of this red axle here. Like so. And that's going to meet up with the tan gear. So that moves. Perfect. It's not quite secure yet, so it won't work properly. Right, now we've got the engine block. Not yet, we've got a frame to make. 3 axle. So that's a grey axle, small 2 axle hole connector. Not that. Put that in the top. And then we got a 5 axle at the bottom. Make sure they're in the middle. We want a 5 axle, got plenty of 5 axles at the moment. Push that through, make sure that's kind of in the middle as well, so they're kind of symmetrical on either side. Then we're going to hang fire hydrants on the tops with the holes facing up. So we want another fire hydrant. There it is. So it's like that. And then we've got these one hole axle hole pieces are going to be hanging down like earrings, and they're going to be one after another. We're going to do that on 2 sides. Like that. Then we got some engine blocks. So we got engine block here. We're going to put 4 pins on this. So we've got 2 on this side. Turn it around. 2 on the other side. Like that. Get the other engine block, join it together, and then put 2 black pins on either side of that. Like so. Engine block upside down. Into the earrings it goes. Like that. Then we've got the pistons, so we want the crank. We want piston arm. So one over here. Ring facing in. Then we've got the tan piece of crank. And that's going to drop down. And then we've got the other crank. This gets a little bit fiddly now. With the bar facing up. The axle facing down. And we're going to hang another piston arm. And find it. Another piston arm would be really good right now. There it is. And that again is going to have the ring facing in. So it's like that. Then we're going to add the actual pistons, piston heads on top. Like so. And then a 4-axle is going to go in the end of the crank. Or 4-axle. There we are. Running out of 4 axles already. And we're going to drop that into the engine block. And that's kind of how it's going to be. And then it's going to be secured in place with a 5.5 long axle with a ring, and we're putting a smooth sleeve on the longish part of that, and then we're going to have a moon gear on the end of that. Keep it in place. Should move because it's the grey piece is frictionless, and then that is going to go into the other side, into the other part of the crank there, and now it should be stable enough to test it out. And there you go. You have your working engine. Another frame. So 5-axle, 2-axle connector, 2-axle connector. There it is. Halfway, and another 5-axle, and we've got another one of those 1-hole connectors. This time earrings are going to go facing up, so there's kind of like ears, rabbit ears, like that. And then we've got 2 red bushings going onto the bottom. Then we got 2 1-hole connectors. They're going to be joining the rabbit ears, and then 2 more dangling down like legs. So you should have something like that. Then we're going to put 2 black pins, 1 on either side. Oops, in the legs. Like so. Engine block facing the right way this time, and the axle is going to go through that hole there, and the black pins are going to go into the rabbit ears, like so. Now your engine's more than stable, so you can engine it to your heart's content. Got H shape, 2 black pins on either side in the middle. And then that is going to connect to the back of these 2 connectors here. Like that. And then we got this rather sinister looking fan blade. Wow. That is cool. Don't think I've worked with these pieces before yet. So make sure it's not too tight so that it does spin. That's really cool. Nice little fan blade. And this is going to get attached now to the rest of it. And my guess is the axle is going to meet here, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe it's going like that. Oh yeah, that connects to the drive right there. See these gears going round and the axle going round here. Yeah, that's still doing nothing. Okay. So we are locking that in place. So turn it upside down, and we're locking that in place with 2 red axles, and they're going to go into these 2 holes here. We're going to lock that into place. It's not a method I've seen used before too much in locking down. It doesn't really pin it down that much, but it pins it down enough. Okay, now we're making some more frame here. So we've got 5 axle, 1 hole, axle connector in the middle, and he's going to be joined by his buddies. 1 hole axle connector, black, and those are going to be pushing the axle out. There we go. And I want one more. One more. Now then. I think this is a point of a video where Half Asleep Chris, a lot of people have watched him, he's a really, really good YouTuber. Half Asleep Chris asks, does it come with a frog? Well, this doesn't come with a frog. I can't wait for a set though to get when it does actually come with a frog. That would be so cool. But Half Asleep Chris, gotta love him. And Bella. I can't remember the other cat's name, and I'm sure you're going to crucify me in the comments. Bella. No, Ralph. Yeah, Bella and Ralph. How could I forget Ralph? Poor Ralph had a really hard time not so long ago. Made a whole video of it. It turned out he had asthma. Alright, blue pin in the bottom there, like that. 2 more L shapes branching off, like that. Give it a bit of a wiggle. So you got that, and then we got these 2 black pins with collars. So we got 4 in total. And those are going to go 1 in there. Don't push them all the way through yet, because what they do is they sit until you're ready to push them through to lock things in place. That is the primary job. Usually you see them in red as well. I think I've actually seen a couple of sets with grey ones as well, which is quite cool. So these are going to go, right, that axle is going to go into the top hole there, I believe. I am wrong. No, I'm right. But I got it the wrong way around. Okay. And then now you can push these pins through. Give them a bit of a wiggle. There we go. That one. And that one. That one. There we go. And now that is secure. Make sure everything's working. It's working as well as it could. This one's still doing something but nothing. So that's an interesting one. Right, so 9 bar, 2 pins, 1 on either side. So we got 1. Then we got ball joints as well. So we got a hole and a ball joint, and I saw one over here. There we go. So it's a hole and a ball joint, so drop, and another ball joint is required. There it is. Same again, hole, drop. And then we're going to pop the 2-hole axle connectors off the ends of these pins. And we're going to put 4 axle in the end of that. So we want some 4 axles. 4. There we go. 4 axles. And then we've got another 2-hole axle connector and another 4 axle. There we go. And then we're going to pop that onto this yellow axle here, like so. And it's kind of janky at the moment. And then we've got a dark bluish grey axle connector going on top. Now it's still janky, but it's now locked in place. And then we got a universal joint with a 5-axle and a red axle. Okay, so we want a red axle, a universal joint. Quite a few universal joints in this actually. A 5-axle, red axle. Red axle is going to go into the axle connector like that. Looks a bit like farming equipment. Moon gear. Moon gear is going to go onto this gear here. Onto the axle, sorry. What moon gear? There we go. Moon gear. Pop that through like so. Now we got some motion there on the other side. Excellent. Excellent. And then we're going to close that off with a axle connector. Hold that in place because, well, actually the axle's holding it in place for now. But as soon as you tip it, it will pop off. So be careful of that. You might lose it. Grey L shapes, 2 grey L shapes. And we want the soft pins. Oh, soft pins with axles. Where art thou, soft pins with axles? And I'll pop that one through. Soft pins with axles. There we go. And pop that through. Pins on same side as the axle. See how soft it is? You can see that axle's curved. Ha! It is flexible. So, and then we go back that up with another plate, another L plate, like so. And then we got a 4-axle with stopper. So dark bluish grey. 4-axle with stopper is going in from the axle side. Give it a bit of a wiggle because you're going through 2 plates. Push it right the way through. And then we've got axle connector and one of those short stud jumper. Yeah, there we go. Into there like that. Usually good for lights, pinning lights on and stuff like that. Good details. Turn it right way. Just make sure that we go the right way. Hole facing along the bottom of the L shape. Got the connector facing the wrong way though. There we go. Stud on the inside of the L shape. And then we got to do another one. Okay, so we got 2 of these. L shape. Flexi pins. I guess what I'm going to call them flexi pins because they're quite flexible. Push that through. Flexi pin. Push that through. And then a grey L shape. Probably the last grey L shape actually. Don't see many of those in this one. Like that. Oh, let's push that pin through. There you go. And then 4-axle with stopper on the back end coming through. And then we're going to join these two together. Okay. So we want axle connector there as well with another stud. Okay, so pop that on there. Put a little stud. Pin on there. Actually, no, it doesn't have a little stud, does it? It does not. Don't go giving the studs away. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Right. Make sure we're getting the right way around, and then join them together like so. These are not moving, so I'm not sure what these are going to be. Yeah. 9-hole bar. There's 9-hole bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That axle's going to go through the last hole, and that pin is going to go into that hole there. And then we're going to cap that off with a red large bushing. That's so. Then we got large L shape. So we've got a large L shape here. Blue pin, short end in at the end of the L. Turn it around, and then we've got a black pin with collar going in the middle of the bottom of the L. And then that is going to go into the last two holes here. So the blue pin is going to go in for a whole drop. And then push that pin through there. So it's locked it in place. 2 black pins and 2 grey pins. Right, so we want the 2 grey pins are going to go here. Frictionless, so they should move. So don't worry about that. Black pin in the middle. And a grey pin at the bottom. So you've got grey at top and bottom, and the black is the middle. Then we got a 3-axle is going to be joining onto the black pin with a collar. 3-axle is grey, and then another black pin with collar. So it's kind of an extension bar. Then we got 3-hole Technic beam, and we're going to have a pin go into one side, and then in the middle we got a 4-axle with stopper going in the middle. This is probably going to be our axle, front or rear. Then we go cap that off with a smooth periscope. So we've got a smooth periscope, and then we're going to put behind that, we're going to put a small bush in. So keep them in place with your thumb and put a small bush in over the top, and there you have it. And that is going to go on the blue pin here, like that. That stops the axle falling through. That is definitely an axle. So this is probably the front. This is probably the front, is my guess, because the engine's going to be in the back. Ooh, turntable. Turntable's already put together, unfortunately, but there you go. There's our big turntable. It's got some pins in it. There we go. Grey side up, and then we're going to have 5-hole Technic beam is going to go in the middle, but we're going to make the middle part first. Okay, so we've got a blue pin long with a short sleeve, and it's going to go down the long end of it, and then this pin is going to go in the middle of the 5-hole bar, and then we get another 5-hole bar, and then you should have a shape like that. So it's H, and that's going to go in the middle. Line up that, hold it in place, because you're going to put blue pins in either side of this. Is going to be difficult to remove later, isn't it? Either side these holes, push them in place, You might have to give them a little bit of a wiggle around just because you're lining up bars and pins. And it's kind of an awkward angle. There we go. And that is secure. And not really looking forward to taking that apart. We want a 13 long bar, so it's probably the longest bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Perfect. It's going to go on. We got 2 black pins going on here. We got a black pin drop. So we got a pin drop, then a hole, then a pin drop, and then on the other side, we've got 3 holes. 1, 2, 3, and then pin drop right there. And then the black pins, go flip it over. Black pins are going to fit on either side of the turntable. And then we got 2 more black pins are going to be put into here. Okay, put into the outside. So 2 black pins on either side of that, ready for the other 13 beam. Then we're going to attach that to this framework that we've been working on. And it's going to go on the last hole. And I'm guessing that's going to go in there like that. That looks good to me. Yep. That looks good. Okay, so 3-hole bar. Blue pin, short end in first, and then a black pin on the other side. 4 axle with stopper. This is the other axle. And then we're going to put that on a 9 bar. 9 bar. And that is going to go hole, pin drop. Keeps it in place. Just make sure you got some movement. Then we got a smooth periscope, capped off with a small bushing. Make sure you still got some movement. Don't want to have the bushing cramping it. Then we got a large L shape is going to go off this blue pin here. So we got the large L shape is going to go off there. And then we've got grey pin, black pin, grey pin. So we want grey pin, black pin. There's a black pin. So that's going to go in the middle, and the grey pin, 1 in the top, 1 in the bottom. 1 in the top, 1 in the bottom. That should be our last grey pins, I think, because that was a struggle to find those. So it should look like that, and then we're going to be adding that to the other side of the frame. As it's going to go like this, I think. 2 pins and an axle to line up. There we go. And then we've got an 11 bar. That's probably this one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep. And that is going to flip that over, and that's going to attach to these 2 periscopes that we just put in. That will stop them flopping about. They are quite difficult to line up, and that just came unattached. How dare you? That was rude. Push those in place. Perfect. Now it's secure. Turn it around, and then we're going to put the other 13 bar across here. That wasn't too bad, actually. We made up 4 pins, and that went on perfectly. And then we got to cap this axle off here with a large red bushing, just like the other side. And we got 4 black pins with collars. So we got 1 here, so that's going to go in there. There's going to be a hole, and then a pin drop, and then it's going to be 2 holes, pin drop. There should be a black pin here. Seeing a black pin there, so there should be a black pin. Perfect. Just like that other side there. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side for the pins with collars. So pinhole or hole pin, and then 2 hole and pin. And that's going to wait to join these 2 pieces together. Now then, where's the axle? It's going to go through here. Okay, so this long axle is going to go through that hole there. Okay, that doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Oh, it doesn't go all the way through. Okay. it does work, but it's not going all the way through. Let's move this out of the way so you can actually see a little bit. Move this to the side so you can still see the model. It's very cool colours actually. Then we got some 7 bars, and we're joining these blue pins here together. And that's a bit more stable now. I'm going to do the other side. Oops. Do the other side, and there you go. And now we've got some. Oh, look! We got steering. We got steering. That's what it is. Isn't that cool? That's cool. That's cool. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. Then we're bringing these up and then pushing these through all the way up, and push those through all the way, and that just makes a lot more decent. I'm hyped for that. Really, I am. That's cool. 6 axle and 2 universals. So we got the universal, we got the 6 axle, and we want another universal. There we go. Told you there's a lot of universals in this today, in this build. Right, on the end of this axle here, just pop that on there, have that hang off. We're building a bit more framework, so we want a 5 axle, a crank arm looking thing. Been seeing it all. There it is. So it's going to go like that. So it's going to kind of go like that. So it's level with that pin there. It's not quite level there, but it's close. Like that. Then we've got a 7-hole Technic beam. And then this axle is going to go through the last hole. Then we're going to put another crank arm on like that. Four axle, 1-hole axle connector, and then it's going to be a small bushing, and then it's going to be an axle connector, but it's going to be the other way, and then a small bushing, and then last but not least another axle hole connector like that. And we're doing 2 of those, so we want another 4 axle. I want another 4 axle. I want another 4 axle. Where is my 4 axle? I want another 4 axle. There it is. Found it. I found my 4 axle. I found my 4 axle. I found my 4-axle. It's not as catchy as building a bag, is it? Guy's a genius. Right, so there we go, 2. And then these are going to go on either ends of these pins here. Okay, like that. And then we got a large or long tan pin, and it's going to be long end in first, and then that's going to attach to, or these black pins here that we've been holding off on are going to be pushing into these holes here. So line one up and then you're home. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And just let that hang out. Okay, we got another bit of a build here. So we got a 7 long axle yellow, another 1-hole axle connector. It's going to go on the end like so. 2-hole axle connector, a blue pin with axle, and a red bushing. Like so. And then that's going to go across. It is. It will. It won't. There we go. I was going to say, that's a bit rude. And then we got keeping it the way we're supposed to. Got a coat hanger going on there. Upside down coat hanger. So it could be underpants. Captain Underpants. Could be underpants. Like that. We've got bushing, and then we've got another one of those 1-hole connectors facing upwards. Like that. And then got another bushing going over the top of that. Cool. And then we've got a 5-axle with a small bushing. And it's going to kind of go quarter of the way down the axle, and then you go push that through. I'll push that through just a touch more, right? You go push that through like that. Then we got a 6-axle red, small bushing, and then we got a grey screw going on the end, and then we go put another grey bushing on top of that, just to keep it in place. It will push the axle, so just keep your finger or thumb behind, or just lay it on the deck and push the bushing down. 2-hole axle connector. It's going to go through the hole like so it can move. And then we are going to attach that to the axle here, keeping that in place. Keep your thumb behind it and push the 1-hole axle connector down, and then just push the axle all the way through the screw until it gets to the end of the 1-hole connector there, and that's it. And then we're just going to cap this off with a short bushing. Yeah, we'll keep that in place. Nice. Large dark bluish grey gear, 5-axle. It's going to go through the middle, and then you're going to put a bushing, a short bushing on either end to stop that gear from moving. And then that's going to go into the middle hole, or the 3rd hole, the 2nd hole down in the coat hanger. That's going to go right in the middle there, and it should line up with these teeth here, and you give that a bit of a twiddle and you should see that gear rotate slowly. That's the job. And then we'll close it off with some more underpants. we go. It's coat hanger. Turn it upside down. It looks very much like some Y fronts or some undergarments like that. Now it's that gear's not going anywhere. One hole axle connector with ball joint. We want a ball joint. Obviously it's going to go into the pinhole. We want 2 of those. So we want another ball joint. Where's another ball joint? Got that. 1 hole axle connector. And this is going to go, I think it's going to go on the end of those axle, on the end of that axle there that we just put on with the gear. And make sure they're facing both the same way, and then wind it down. You should see that kind of rotating, and you can raise or lower it, center it, and then we're going to close the other side off with 2 hole axle connector. 2 hole axle connector with blue pin with axle, blue pin with axle, blue pin with axle. Have you seen my blue pin with axle? There it is. And a red bushing. That's going to go in there. That's going to go in there. Quite sure what's that serving. Is that stopping? That's what it is, isn't it? It's a stopper. It stops the arms going any further. That's what's going on there. I got it. Right. Next is the 1 hole axle connector. Boink. 5 axle. And 1 hole axle connector. About 1/4 of the way down the axle. And then we've got to put a black pin on that where the axle's poking out like that. And then we've got a 5 hole Technic beam, and it's going to go in 2nd hole from the top. And then we've got 2 grey pins, 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom on the other side. Should have some movement. And then that is going to fit. I believe that's going to go, that axle is going to go through there, and that axle is going to go in there. There you go. Oh, skipping a place. Once again, 1 hole axle connector. Okay, 5 hole Technic beam, dropping a pin in the middle hole this time, and then that is going to go there, and then we got grey pin top and bottom again. So it's a little bit of a different build than the other one because the other one has the axle connected already. So axle in there, and there you go. I have no idea what that is, but there you go, you got it. 5 axle, 2 axle hole connector, another ball joint. Is that ball joint? It is a ball joint, isn't it? Another ball joint. Yep. Okay, got the ball joint. 5 axle, not a 3, like that, and then we got the V shape. Ooh. I'll put that on the deck. Might make it easier. There we go. So the V shape is pointing away from the ball joint, and then we got a red axle going on the end of that, and then we got this rather cool rubber connector. Where is it? There it is. So this is a rubber connector here, and I'm sure, I mean, this must be fairly old. It's 2016, so it's weathered pretty well for a piece of rubber. So well done. and then we're going to put that in, and that's going to kind of face in. If you can see that, it's kind of facing in. And we're doing the other side, so 5-axle again. 2-axle hole connector. I'll just drop that in like so. Ball joint again, and I thought it was the last ball joint last time, so this has to be the last ball joint. Really, it does. Then a V shape. The V shape faces away from the ball joint, so it goes on like so. Then we got the red axle, and then we've got the rubber connector. Where's the rubber connector? Those. And that will be slightly facing in. And then these are going to sit in the one-hole connectors here, like that. Looks like it's going to be a grab or something. Yeah, it's going to be grab, isn't it? Because it's grabbing the dynamite or the thing. So it's that 7-bar going across, joining the axles together. Hold that in place now, and the axles, these, oh, they still will drop. Okay, so we're going to put some more V shapes on top of those the same way. Now that won't fall out. Although there's odd space in between. V shape. Have it going the same way. There you go. It's a grabber, and we got attach the arms. So these arms, connecting arms here on those ball joints. That's what the ball joints are for. And joints like that. Now they won't flop about, and if you wind this, if I'm correct, if you wind this, look at that. It opens and closes the grab. Excellent. Love it. All right, now we're connecting it. Right, so that's connecting to the universal. And it's just going to hang there like that. Look, it's just going to, it's kind of lame. It's kind of lame. Right. Small L shape, black. Okay. Black pin in the end of the L. And then we've got blue. Blue. We've got a 5 Technic beam going across. And then we got a black pin with collar going in the elbow of the L like that. Then we've got 3-axle going into that connector, and then we've got another connector on the other end. So this is again an extension bar. We got a red axle going in the top of the L. And then a 1-hole axle connector is going to attach to that and extend that length. And that's that. That's it. There you go. That is all of it. No, I'm kidding. There's two instructions to this, which is quite bizarre. Not really seen 2 books to a set yet. I mean, I'm sure it exists, but there you go. That gives you an idea of what it's going to look like, and it looks pretty awesome. And these instructions are a bit too zoomed in, so I'll just sort that out. There we go. Okay, so what looks like this is an arm. That's what this looks like, and it's going to attach to this grab here somehow. So it's going to go onto this bottom pin here. Yep. And then this bottom pin here. Yep. Like that. That's kind of how it's going to go. For now, anyway. Okay, so we've got this piece here. It says move that back, put the pin in that, and look at that! It's a lifting mechanism for the grab. That's really cool. Love it, love it, love it. I'm loving this set more and more. I'm loving this set more and more. It's got quite a bit of functionality to it already, and I'm getting excited. Right, and then we go reinforce that connection to the grab with another 5 bar like that. Is that working? Perfect. Okay. So short end at the top, long end at the bottom. We've got a flexi pin. Nope, it's not a flexi pin. These dark bluish grey pins are going to go through. And then we've got a 3-hole Technic beam hanging off the end of that. And then we've got Mordrum. Got a Mordrum Solace. 2 grey pins with studs. So 2 grey pins with studs. And then we're going to attach some trans clear plates to those. So these are going to be the lights. Is a guess. Turn that around. Like that. And then that's going to attach to this black pin here and this axle here. Okay, connect the beam first, I think, then the axle, then push it together. Cool. Mud guards. All right. That's what we got. We got some mud guards. Oh, and we're doing the other side of the reinforced piece for the grab. Okay. Short L shape, black pin, end of the L shape, 5-hole beam going across, red axle at the top of the L shape, extend the L shape with a 1-hole axle connector, and then attach said item to these 2 grey pins here. Oh, and this black. Nice. Got 3 pins to line up. We'll get that to middle one first, then the 2 grey if I can. So this is a bit more hands-on-ish with... Oh, I see this. Is this lining up as well? Right, okay. Having to pick it up all the time and stuff. Alright, let's see if that works. Ah, cool. Right, yeah. It actually locks in place as well now. So instead of it just flopping so you can't pull it down. That's cool. I like it. Then we got to put the 5 bar across. Yep. 5 bar across on the 2 grey pins here. Perfect. And you could probably make a scorpion mock out of that, couldn't you? That's a great scorpion claw. The 2 claws at the front of the scorpion. Right. Short at the top, long at the bottom, dark bluish grey going through, and then we've got the 3-hole Technic beam, Mordrum head, grey pin with stud, and 2 trans clear 1x1 circular plates. And then that is going to go, if I just turn it around, that is going to go like that. If I'm right, I am wrong. That why does that look wrong? Why does that look wrong? this is the wrong way around. Like that. Then turn it around. That looks right. Right. No, actually, wait. What's going on here? What's going on? Okay, let's try this again. That way. Pin's going through that way. Okay. Black thingy-mabobber doobler thing is going to hang that way. This looks right. Turn it around. That's better. I don't know how I got confused with that. There you go. So line the bar up with the pin. And then the other hole with the axle at the bottom, because it's easier to drop in on. Get that pushed in a little bit more. Right, perfect. Got the mud guards with the lights on now. Yep, done that. Right, this looks like cab. So we've got a small black L shape, black pin in the back, top of the headboard, blue pin, short end in, middle of base, and a free axle at the foot of the bed. And then we got a large yellow L shape attached to those two, and then two black pins, one after the axle, and then a hole, and then pin drop, and you should have a hole at the top. Then we're going to put a V shape on the axle and the pin here at the bottom. Call that at the bottom for now. And then an L shape going over the top. Oh, that's clever. Kind of looks like a part of a cab. The seats, okay, so blue L shape, small, red axle going in the top of the L shape, and a blue pin, short end in first is going in the elbow of the L shape. Then we're putting another L shape on top. How many times can I say L shape? And then we're going to attach that into the second from last pin on the gun shape, the L shape. Then we got two grey pins with studs. Okay, two grey pins with studs, and a 1x4 tile. Okay, and this looks like it's going to sit on the actual pins, not in between. So there you go, like that. Gives it a bit of a smoother edge. Looks like placing a sticker, but we're not doing that. Small L shape. Turn it over so it's like the gun. Black, blue pins down the handle of the gun and the hammer. Then we are putting another L shape. Okay, over the top, like so. So it's kind of like that. So you got a bigger L shape. Okay, so we got free axle, one hole axle connector. That's going to go in the axle hole, obviously. And then we got one of those soft pins with stud is going in the other side, like that. And we've got a fire hydrant going off the grey axle. Okay, like so. And then this is going to attach to this here at the bottom of the 7, because it looks like 7 now. There we go. It does have a bit of flexibility in the angle, which I think is what the point is. One hole, Technic beam, black pin at the top. Turn it around. That's going to go into, the black pin's going to go into the only hole left, like so. And then we've got smooth periscope. Right, smooth periscope. Yep. Grey pin with stud. Trans orange round circular plate 1x1, and then that's going to go into the hole here, because this is going to be the top of the cab by things. That looks like it's the old beacon there. Looks like the last one hole Technic, one hole axle connector there. 3 axle. He's going to go into the axle hole, Shaun. And another 3 axle, and that's going to be held in place with 2 short, if I can get them up, bushings. Make sure your axles are level, centralized even. There we go. And it's kind of somewhat centralized. Let's give it a bit more. Yeah. And so the axle with bushing is facing away, so there you go. That goes on there. And then we're going to put another small L shape over the top. Like, it's got 2 pins to line up. Give it a bit of a wiggle, and the axle. And there you go. You've got your cab. Not quite, Mr. Bond. 3-hole plate with axles on either side. We've got a 5-axle with a stopper. Looks like a 5-axle with a stopper to me. So that would be a dark bluish grey axle. No, it's not. It's a dark tan. I apologise. It's a dark tan. Then you got small bushing goes on top of that. Then that's going to attach to the axle at the top here, the 3-axle. It's kind of got some flexibility, so I'm guessing that's what gives the angle of the cab. So this is going to go in there. All right. Yeah. Yeah, there. Yeah. And then we go put a bushing on top of that to stop that falling off. And then we go put a plate, another 3-hole plate on top of that. So you've got the other side of the frame of the cab. And then we're going to attach the cab. Right, which way we got this thing facing? That way. Okay. This looks like an interesting connection. So this axle here is going to connect to the fire hydrant here. So it's like that. So it's going to keep that in place. But where does this axle go? And where does that pin go? Does that pin go in there? So the axle must fall in there. So the pin goes in there. So give it a bit of a wiggle, and voila, it's in. Smashing. Oh, we got this bit of movement here like this as well. I wonder if that's going to get locked in place. But look at this. This is cool. That is cool. I'm sorry. I'm kind of, yeah, with that. Oh yeah, look at this. So this gear piece there, that's going to be controlling the grab. Look at that. The grab is opening. Oh, this is too good. Too good. Love this. 9-hole Technic beam, and we're going to join it with, or make a extension. So it looks like it's the pins, the flexi pins, flexi axles with pins on the end of a 9-hole Technic beam, and then it's going to be placed between these two. So black pin and blue pin here. Blue pin first. Oh, and you've got black pin here as well. So we've got 3 pins to line up. That's 2. 3. Perfect. Draw it down. Lovely. And then do the other side. Right. Same on the other side. Don't have to do the extension bar because it's already there. Line this pin up. And it should, but it ain't. There you go. Oh, now the... Alright, right, got it. There we go. Cool. Now look at that. That fan's going round as well. How cool is that? That evil looking fan. Alright, so 9-hole Technic beam, 2-hole pin drop. Then we're adding the large L shape on top of it, and then we got 2 blue pins going in short end first, pin drop straight away, and pin drop after that. 2-hole axle connector, a 2-hole connector on the end, and an exhaust element. Cool. On the end like that, and then this is going to go on the back, obviously, because it's the exhaust, isn't it? So the blue pin here, I think. Yeah, it looks like just that blue pin there. I don't know if it's supposed to meet up with something else. Oh, hello. Yeah, we got a black pin. Got a black pin with collar, and that's going to meet up with the engine block. So we'll put that in there. That should hold it in place. There we go. Put the exhaust back down. Make another extension bar. So we've got the connector here. And 2 more of these soft axles with pins, and that's going to go in the top like so. Then we get curly whirly time. That's going to go onto this axle here, this pin here, and these 2 pins here, I think. That axle, that pin. Yep. So you got 3 pins to line up, and 1 axle. It's not too difficult. There we go. Got it. And then we put in 1-hole axle connector with a red axle on the end of it, like that. Kind of looks like a footstep. Another 9-hole beam, 2-hole axle, 2-hole connector. Blue pins are going to go all the way through, so long ways in, and then it's going to attach to the L shape like that, and then the L shape is going to have 2 black pins in the elbow and in the middle. What's the 7 this time? Like a 7. And then that's going to go into these 2 holes here. So we got this hole space like that, and then we got the black pin with collar, 2 holes, pin drop. And that's the other side. So just this blue pin right here. Match those up. And this beam here as well. I forgot about that now. And then just slightly wiggle that black pin with the collar in, and it should meet up into the engine block. Now then, what we got next? The step. The curly whirly and then the step. So we've got the curly whirly. And there is no axle. Oh, because it was off the cab, of course. Oh, I ain't got one of these. That's a bit odd. That should have that. Should it? Yeah. Yeah, we are doing the step. I'm trying to get clever. So, step on the end. Like so. Oh, okay. Okay, leave the curly whirly alone then. Step away from the curly whirly. 7-hole, 2-hole axle connector with the soft pins with axle. Going in the same way. I think that's the last one. And that's going to go into the middle. Not the axle facing in. Like that. 2 smooth periscopes. So we're going to have grey pins with studs. And then red transclear circular 1x1 plate. And that's going to go on one side of this 2-hole connector. So there's going to be the rear lights, aren't they? Smooth periscope. Grey pin with stud. 1x1. Trans red circular plate. And then on the other side there. Now we got 2 blue pins going in short and in first on either side of this beam. There's not much left. And then these mudguard panel type things. Also seats. They're also used as seats as well. So they're really quite cool pieces, to be fair. Seats in smaller Technic builds. Mud guards in like other Technic builds, like the seen tractor and stuff. Then we got a 9 going over the top, so you kind of got the rear bumper. 2 black pins with collars, just poised. So we're going to put this on something and then drop it through. Apply stickers, yada yada. Okay, so it's going to go in the rear here. Oh, I see. These pins are going to go into here. So they're not steps. They're not steps. And this axle is going to go through this hole here. So make sure you get that axle lined up first. Then push the pin. I wonder if that exhaust is in the way. There we go. Push the pin. Push the pin. Put exhaust back down, and there you go, you got your rear bumper. Nice. Now the curly whirly, right. Curly whirly with the red axle, and it's going to go into the long part of the curly whirly, because then that's going to attach to that. That ain't right. That ain't right. How can that be right? Because I know why. Here you go. There we go. Much better. And give it a bit of a wiggle because you've got 2 pins, 3 pins, and an axle to line up. Push that red axle through nice and smoothly. And then we've got this piece here. Okay, so we got pin at the top, pin at the bottom, add beam, pin in the middle or close to the other 2 pins, then put that pin on there, and then a yeah, it looks like again, doesn't it? It does look like again, yeah. In the middle, and the ends, then pop that on there, and then 2 pins at the top, 2-hole axle connector on the end of that, and that's going to go on here. Ah, there's a red bushing that's going there. So a red bushing. A red bushing is going there. Acts as a spacer. So that sits smooth with that. Nice. Oh, we got an aerial. Aerial's going in here. So it's a, well, it looks like a fencing saber rapier, isn't it? It's fencing, yeah. And it's going to act as an antennae. We'll pull it into the left. Be cool. Let's be cool. Let's not have it in the middle. We want it offside. Having it in the middle is a bit boring. Ah, wheels. Okay, so why we got these? All right, so let's do wheels. Finally. So these are different wheels than we've been used to in past builds so far. I'm not saying this will be the last time I would see these wheels, but it's definitely not been these wheels that we've been building with much at all. They are, looks like double-sided again. Different kinds of designs on the sides, like the normal wheels we get, which are like the racing and the industrial. That doesn't pretty much look like racing though. Right. There you go. That's 2. Oops, pushed it too far. Don't push me. That. There we go. Wheel in the rim, wheel in the rim. Time to get the wheel in the rim. Get that. The wheel don't go in the rim. Oh dear. The wheel will not go in the rim. With tire in the rim, tire in the rim. There we go, got it. Perfect. It's cushiony, no suspension. Right, let's attach those. So it looks like they're going to be the flat side out, not the cave side. So usually industrial would be like that. We're going to push those straight on. There we go. And yep. And yep. Boing boing. I wonder why it's like that. I don't know why that's like that. But yep. Hand of God steering. Works awesomely. The engine moves with the back axle there. You can see the pistons going. Also, this rather chunky fan, this rather scary fan that you got behind this protective plate here, and I don't blame you. That rather scary fan's moving around as well, which is really cool. Then what we got here, we've got the grab mechanism. See the universal turning around, moving the screw, opening the claws, and then getting this. Aha. So it's alive. That in the middle forms our radioactive waste. Open the claws, steer into it, open the claws more, can the claws open more? Oh, it actually popped that. It actually popped that. Done. There we go. Now will it go? Yes. Close those claws. The grab. Okay. Oh, hang a minute. We got to lower it down, haven't we? Then close the grab as much as you can. Lift it up. Lock it. It does lock. And away you go. How cool is that? That is so cool. I'm gonna have to say, yeah, these Lego sets start to get better and better as it goes along. Look at that. It looks so cool. Functionality is great. Absolutely great. There's your rear end. There's the other side. It's got a nice little aerial there. Kind of gives that Humvee look in a way, doesn't it? I love this. I love this whole mechanism here of lowering it, raising it, and then obviously letting go of it. What a cool model. What, $24.99 this was? I would say I would have bought it. I would have definitely bought this. It's quite a good size as well, as you can see now from the size of me to it. You know, it is quite the size, and it's really, really cool. It's got quite a lot of parts, interesting elements to it. It's got a lot of gear work. Love the steering. I think the steering works flawlessly. I love the grab. Love the actual lift, and this scary fan as well. You get to own a scary fan. 2-piston engine working as well as that. Some great Technic. There's some great build techniques in here with the cab and the claw and a few other various the steering. I mean, I've not worked with that kind of thing either yet, but yeah, brilliant. I love it. Drop a comment below and tell me if you've got this set. What do you think of it? Would you have got this? I mean, I would have definitely got this. And hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs down. Don't be shy. If you didn't like the video, give us that big old thumbs down. Drop us a comment if you didn't, to let us know why you didn't like it. Drop a comment to let us know if you like it. Hit that like and subscribe as well if you like it. Right, I'm Shaun from BRIT'N Bricks. Peace.